Hey up, welcome back. Part number 2 of my Desert Babe build series. Now, yeah, the Revell Tornado. It has quite a reputation, and in this video, we're going to do the main assembly. So we're going to tackle some short shots, some gaps, some fit issues, all the usual Revell fun and games. So strap yourself in, and let's go ahead and get started. Hopefully you had a good couple of weeks, and back at this, and now we're on to the main assembly. This is where this kit struggles. Yeah, it's so complicated, the shape, and so many different things going on here. The way it's built, you have to really take your time and make sure you kind of line these things up. Now, several ways of doing it. I'm just going to loosely kind of follow the instructions, I think, on this one to see how it goes, to kind of test my luck a little bit. Now, I will say the sprue now is a little flashy. I've spent some time off camera to kind of clean up some of these parts, but kind of walk you through what we've got going on here. Zoom back out. We're going to basically install the main kind of intake trunking. Put these in first, which is the walls of the wheel bay, and then we did it already. Put sides together. Sides then go on. And then we're going to do something slightly different here, but you got to put this, like, part of the intake on, and we've got some assembly going on for the wings. Again, we might do something a little different. I might do like my 30-second scale. I cut it out so we can take the wings on and off. See there. Then basically moving on to the upper side. It's a couple panels that get glued together, and this is where the fun and games happen with the intakes. It's always a fit issue around the top of the intake here, getting the three parts all lined up. So we'll see how we go there. But I'm just reading this a minute. D61, that must be the inside of the intake. Okay. Okay, cool. So we've got a game plan. Now, again, I've started working on some of this stuff already. Oh, dropping parts. So intake trunking should be grey on the inside. Now I use Mr. Hobby, which looks very similar actually to the plastic. Mr. Hobby grey, Mr. Surfacer. And I did have a little bit of black left in my airbrush. So as you can see, it created this kind of effect, which I kind of dig. So rather than putting more paint on, it kind of adds like a sooty kind of dirty look, having a little bit black left over my paint color cup at the end. So they basically get sandwiched together. There's some parts, which once I forgot, so don't forget to glue these parts in first on each side, and then I'll glue them in first, my recommendation, and then paint. And then these kind of go together. And the fan blades, just painted the steel color, and added a quick black wash. Just pick out some of the fan blades. Not that you can see them at all, because they go back here, and you know you're not going to see that far back inside the aircraft. So what I'm thinking we're going to do here is to make sure these kind of line up. I also got my cut these off and clean them up too. There's flash on these guys. So they basically going to sit on this hole right here, but it's not a great fit because there's a good mil or two wiggle room. So I'm going to use some glue, like cement, which doesn't, like my Tamiya cement, a thick cement, not extra thin. So I got some working time. So I can glue this in place, and then I'm going to put this over the top, and then I can then have time to kind of manipulate this where I want it, and kind of go from there, I guess. All right, so I've got one side on, a bit of a wrestle to get this thing on. Again, take your time, slots in the back and the front here, lining it all up. And the problem was it's flexing a little bit, so it's coming loose. Not a great line along there, but we can sand it back and we can make it look better, I think. A little concerned more of the back here. I think this is a short shot again. I think it's like this panel here is a good millimeter, if not 2 mil behind the back here. So welcome to World of Revell model making. So nothing's ever easy, is it? So done that one side. Again, with this thing, I think it's a case of taking your time, gluing one section, letting it dry, and then gluing another. In the past, I may have gotten the mess because I tried to glue it all in like space of 10 minutes, and the whole thing just kind of fell apart. When I was drying, so not wasting any time here, did glue the tail together. Again, way over-engineered, way too many parts in this thing. But anyway, got it together, and as you can see again, a short shot in the end there. And one thing I always forget with these tails, before you glue the two halves together, make sure from the inside you cut out the hole. Maybe I went a little bit too big on that one, because these are for these guys with glue in on each side. If you forget to cut that hole, then you have to, like, yeah, firstly you have to cut the back off and try to super glue it, then try and line it up. It's a right mess. So remember, again, top tip, cut those. Okay, so somehow my microphone cut out. I guess I need to buy a new microphone. So in editing, doing a voice over, and you get two parts here on the spine there. And you see that short shot. So the one you're supposed to use is 2mm too short. Thanks, Revell. So I used the other one in the box. There's just a few differences, panel lines and stuff. But yeah, this one is way short shot. And later on in the video, you'll see we've got more short shot parts as well. So if you have this in your stash, make sure you check your plastic, because quite a few issues with this one. So yeah, so it was short by a couple of mil. So I just went with the other one in the boxing. I don't care too much about the pound lines, because we're going to probably obliterate most of these anyway when we go ahead and sand all these, sand away all the seam lines and get it smooth and stuff. And as you see, what I've done here is I've built the intakes onto this into its assembly rather than building them onto the fuselage, because I felt doing this I got better success of getting this lined up and better fit. So I built in that way, and then from the inside just slotted in the louver doors, and that's how I went about it. Next up, you can see we've got the wings added. These are always a bit of a pain, like to get them all lined up. There's like a bar that goes in the middle of them there, which kind of supposed to be a bit gimmicky, but as you put the wings back, it's supposed to rotate the pylons, so they always face forward. But they're in place. Now, watch here, I did make a mistake. See, they're slightly in the fuselage. It means the flaps won't fit when they're down. So later on, part number 3, you see if I get to pull these out, extend them a little bit further. But again, I'm seeing instructions there. The little, you don't glue them in. You just, like a rod goes in there. This never really works for me. It's again a little gimmicky. And again, you can see the T-bar. I did glue this down into place because I had no plan of moving this backwards and forwards. It's not a toy. I want the wings forward with the flaps down. So again, you see there on the right side, you can see how the end of the wings in the fuselage slightly. Just make sure it's fully out, like there, that position. And I just had it fully extended because I didn't do that. I had it maybe a couple of mils inside the fuselage. Now the problem is you can't read them backwards and forwards because the wing glove that goes on the side there, you have to cut for a certain way, and if you want it wings back, you have to cut the plastic open. So wings forward is what I want to do, and you see there again the joins, it's a little bit loose, so I did kind of glue those down where my fingers are there, just to keep it in position. Okay, and then also on the wings, you'll make sure that that grey bit I'm going to paint first and then mask it off. So before I put the top part of the fuselage on, I'm just going to spray that area grey. Then we're add the top part on, and then it makes it easier for masking. We just mask the grey up and then just paint the fuselage color over the top. There is some flex there, like I mentioned earlier, so I can get that over with the intakes. I can just bend it over and click it onto the main trunking there for the intakes. All right, so making progress, and let's talk through the issues with this kit. This T kind of join here is always terrible. Needs a little sanding on this one. This side isn't so bad. I always kind of worry about the side first. Underside, I don't care so much. You can see all that terrible sink marks and stuff in the plastic because you're not going to see it. So we can fill and do what we want underneath. You don't see that. The side is more important, I think, personally. This side, that seam obviously needs taken care of. Here's a terrible... Remember I mentioned how short we are on the side? You can see exactly how short the plastic is. There's no sanding or anything there. We're like a good millimeter, if not more, out. It needs filling. As always, every single tornado has a gap here. This needs sanding. Filling. What else? I didn't add the horizontal kind of bits that stick out on the tail because when we go through sanding and stuff, it's just going to snap off. So do that later on. Probably need a little filling down here, down the spine. What else? That's really it. Nothing major. I mean, again, just take your time. Do section time, hold it in place, let it glue. move to another area. I mean, that's how I do it. Now, I did glue the wings in place because... Wait, did I glue them? I did glue them in place because the wing gloves. You can't retract them because, you know, the plastic's in the way. You can cut it. If you have the wings back, you can cut the plastic. But, you know, it's not a toy. I'm not going to fall around, you know, going backwards and forwards and stuff. So I just glued them in place. And then, you know, once we've taken care of all these problem areas, basically glue, you know, these guys gluing over the top. I think that's the wrong way around. Oh, no, it's not. It's about, you know, these guys glue on. And obviously paint this grey first, glue this on. And yeah, we're good to go. So that's kind of where we're at. So, you know, Revell never disappoints. All their sink marks and fit issues. Do hope somebody does bring out a new Tornado at some point in time. Airfix or somebody. Just a little bit better design and fitting. Yeah, and I took my time, but still, nothing major. Just, the other problem is all this detail. You know, once I go to town sanding all this and making it nice, you can lose all this detail. Let's see again, there's a lot of sink marks in this. And yeah, 2004, is it 2014, I think the plastic was molded. So, what, it's 11 years old now. So yeah, so I'm basically going to town filling and sanding and come back and kind of see how we look. Okay, so a lot of work going into this, and it's a trade-off. Like, there's really nice fine surface detail, but do I keep the surface detail, or do I just get rid of the kind of gaps and the panel lines, that kind of stuff from building this thing? And I went for the latter. So I went with my Tamiya putty and filled in, you know, various areas, some sink marks on here too, back here, you know, underneath, you know, all this stuff, filled it, and just went with a heavy sanding to my 220 grit Infinity sander, and just nuked it and sanded it back, and hopefully when we put some primer over it, it's going to look better. So did lose some surface details. Some of this I may be able to scribe back in, some maybe not worth it. I think back here I took it pretty aggressively as well, and maybe lost some of its detail, but I got rid of the step, and that's the main thing, looking good. The detail I can handle. Sink marks again, back here, each of these took care of. And yeah, well, added these guys on, as you can see, glued on. I obviously got, you know, took care of the sanding and the filling stuff before I added these on. And yeah, there's a bit of a gap here, so I might take some Vallejo putty for that one. Any kind of long lines like that, Vallejo putty is probably the better way to go. And just a Q-tip, wipe it off. Any more heavy duty sanding, Tamiya putty is my go-to. Very dusty as well. So what's left now for me to do is assembly. I think I want to add in the, basically for the slats, all these guys I'm going to cut up, and I'm sure they're going to be full of flash. Clean up, get them all glued in place. You can see I actually did paint the gray on the top here. That's going to be, you know, basically this part, which we can mask off, and when we paint the desert pink. So yeah, a lot of sanding and dusty work, but you have to do it. And I think now I'm kind of getting happier how it's looking. Although we have lost some detail, it's looking, you know, much smoother, the joints. All right, so got all these little guys in there. Looks pretty fragile and delicate. Issue is the fit isn't great in terms of there's nothing behind it, so it just falls right in. So you got to use your judgment. So I basically trying to figure it out like halfway approximately of each of these bits of plastic are kind of glued in. Use pretty liberal with the glue to make sure they don't fall out. Same on the other side. And trying to think what else now. That's pretty much it. I did that work. I don't want to add the flaps and slats on because there's gray below it. Now I'm thinking if it was a usual Tornado and the grays, maybe the same color, but this being desert pink, inside all these areas are gray, and then you have obviously the pink for the main fuselage color. So we've got the slats cut off. The flaps, a little bit tricky to build, but kind of figured it out. So it's basically 4 parts on there. And the issue is, I remember before, I'm not sure if this is the right side, but they won't, because of this and the size of the fuselage, if I hold it against it, look, we're about 2 mil out. So we're going to have to shave off about 2 mil off this, I think, to make it fit. Again, we want to paint all these separately. It's going to be easier in the long run. But I want to show you, end this video, end this week, with Revell's amazing engineering. Now, you hear a lot of people trash Revell, and this may be why. So this is a premium limited edition kit they provided Eduard. And look at my stabilizer. So that should be the shape of it. 2 pieces. Now, when I saw this one, it's kind of curved. I was like, oh, that's weird. Put it up against it where it fits. And look how short it is. All this is short shot. Now, if this was your only kit, you could maybe sand it down and feather it back, whatever. Fortunately, I have a few more of these Revell kits in my stash, not the limited edition, but regular ones, and I can get some stabilizers out there. I actually have one half built, which kind of turned out bad, so I have spare parts. So luckily, I do have another one of these in my spares box. But if you have any of these like Revell kits, or especially this Desert Babe in your stash, I recommend, take it out, take a look at it, and, this kind of parts for sure, because if I have a short shot, the chances are you do as well. And maybe reach out to Revell, you might be able to get spare parts. And guess what? Other side. Well, hang on, I'm looking at the wrong. Am I getting the right part here? Yeah. On the other side, we're both short shot. We're both round, like that, see? And they should be that shape, squared off. So on this side, they're both, so 3 out of the 4 are short shot. And yeah, look at that for a beautiful fit. So good job, Revell. This is why I like build Tamiya kits. And yeah, this is where I'll end the video. So a lot of work on this one. I think we beat this in submission. And I think next time round, we'll get going. Not sure if we do the ordnance next or we do the exhausts. Remember, we do have the resin ones, so maybe we look to use these as well if they fit. And build out more of this back section here. But yeah, there we go. So thank you for watching as always. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button. It really helps me out. And I'll catch you for part number 3. Bye.